Well, this turned out to be quite the video, you guys. I think Nate ended up solving potentially the 30-6 mystery and all that after Candace went ham in her members only, and we got to see her tell you what she really thinks about this entire case. All right, Jesse on Fire, welcome back. So I found out that there are no law enforcement agencies that are still working on the Charlie Kirk assassination, but I have good news for you guys, okay? Because I'm still working on it, and I'm working on it with a team of people behind the scenes, and we are uncovering some serious stuff. I cannot exaggerate that. In fact, it's so much stuff that I will have a forthcoming video, and I can't even guarantee when it's going to come out. It'll be, for sure by Monday, the first stage of this discovery will start to unfold. But today, what we're going to be looking at is Candace Owens, and she's under fire because on her members only area last night, apparently she made some comments while, look at her, dude. Like, she's chilling. She's in her pajamas. She's just talking. It's her members only. It's behind the paywall. So she thought she can just say whatever she wants. And it got clipped. And people are coming after her because she apparently, according to the people who want to clickbait it, she said that Trump had Charlie killed, right? That is what people are saying that she said. Now, I haven't listened to the whole thing entirely, so I'm going to do that. But before we move on, I'll give you a little bit more information about what's coming out. What if I told you that the person who drew this picture on August 13th and posted it on August 13th also wrote a poem or song titled Charlie Kirk Dead at 31 weeks before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. A couple other things of note there. That says roof 813. It also has a rifle, and it has a person in a prone position, apparently on a roof in that image. And it definitely was not Tyler Robinson that drew that picture. And as far as the world knows, it's a person who is not directly connected to Lance and Tyler Robinson, even though people were looking at them before, except we connected them. And we can show you exactly how they're connected. We're going to blow the fucking doors off this thing once it's compiled. Literally, by Monday, we will have it all the way compiled. But for now, we're going to look at Candace Owens. Now, one quick thing that people kept sending me yesterday is this image right here. And then we'll get into Candace. Okay, so someone sent me this, and it was like, if Tyler Robinson was caught on camera running through the UVU courtyard at 12:23 p.m., how the hell was he on the Losi rooftop at the same second? Well, I could certainly answer that. If that's not Tyler Robinson, or if that's Tyler Robinson there, and the boyfriend is up on the roof, okay? Or if one of their other conspirators is the one taking the shot, okay? Very simple. And if you look, my first reaction to this, I always assume everything is fake until I can prove otherwise, right? My first reaction was, I was like, okay, no one's running around though. Everybody's like looking in different directions. And these people right here seem to be like walking, right? This doesn't look like someone has just been shot. Here's the thing though, okay? Even like if this is genuine and it's 12:23, well, guess what? Right there, okay? Right there, there's your Turning Point USA event right there. Okay, and that would mean that this person running is at 12:23 right before he's going to be shot. Okay, now let me ask you a common sense question. Okay, let me ask you a common sense question. How would a person be running right before the shot is taken, and what would be the marker? Like they said, hey, we're going to do this right at 12:23. Does that make sense? The way that he would know to be running before everyone else, because no one else seems to be running, is that Hunter Kozak just stood up and walked up to the microphone. Okay, I'm going to get sidetracked and go down a rabbit hole because I know so much other stuff about what we're looking at. I just want to get back and do this. So we're going to look at Candace Owens and what she actually said. And I wanted to, so this is what Steven Crowder said. He said, you can watch this clip and draw one of two conclusions. Erica Kirk is evil and conspired with the Trump administration to kill her husband, or Candace Owens is a see you next Tuesday. Okay, well, listen, I met and hung out with Ian Carroll today. New buddy of mine. We've been fucking rapping out all day, dude. Imagine that we would be Insta friends, you know? But he came instantly to her defense, and he said that it's a dishonest and transparently incorrect interpretation of her words. So again, I've intentionally not fully watched it. So we're gonna watch it now. Listen, by the way, if you want to be aware when I drop the nuclear bomb on this case that it is going to be, you should definitely subscribe to the channel, and you should ring the bell for all notifications so that you don't miss it. It'll be within the next couple days. And if you guys don't mind liking this video, that would be amazing as well. So let's rock and roll.
My heart aches for the fact that he gave so much of his life to Trump and to politics, and they just were like, nope, that is it. It serves us or it doesn't serve us, and we want to move on. And so here's a holiday. Bro, if they try to give me a holiday, what is with them giving people a holiday after they kill them? Why is that a thing? You know what I mean? They're like, oh, Martin Luther King, what about this holiday? What about this boulevard? Anyways, let me knock it off. Like, they're going to give Charlie Kirk a boulevard. They already did. They did in Israel. They gave him freaking boulevard. It's like, as soon as they give you a boulevard and a holiday, they definitely killed you. Okay, there's no question.
Number one, that's a joke. Okay, like for sure, she's making a joke. She is certainly not being shy about what she thinks happened here. And I don't think she's been hiding the ball on that from the beginning of this thing. Okay, so I have people go back and forth. Like some people are like, play the whole video and then go back and play it again and give your commentary. I'm like, all right, but then some people, they don't like when I do that. So I don't know. I'll let her talk for a while. I'll do my best, dude.
It killed you. There's no way. That's like their signature thing. It's like that's what they do. It's the Fed signature. It's how they sign off after they murder you. They're like holiday and a boulevard. And it's never on a nice side of town either. Like Charlie Kirk Boulevard is not going to be a nice side of town. Anyways, I will be back on the 27th, you guys. Thank you guys for all the support throughout these couple of weeks, these last really kind of 6 weeks since Charlie died. And we will see you guys then.
Okay. Well, to me, that was definitely not her saying Trump definitely killed Charlie Kirk. I do not agree with that interpretation at all. I mean, again, she has been pretty clear that her suspicions are in the direction of a foreign country in the Middle East. You know what I mean? And I've said from the beginning, I don't agree. And well, not from the beginning. The more I thought about it, I love Candace and I respect the shit out of her. All you have to do to earn my respect is just say what you actually think. And kind of the more, the more kind of fuck you are, like you stick to your guns, the more I'm kind of like, all right, that doesn't mean I'm going to be convinced, because they're like, in my opinion, in this particular case, you have just blaring holes of logic, which are, why would they do this in public? Right? Like these are people who will, hit you with a dart and make you have a heart attack. You know what I mean? Shooting him in broad daylight in a college campus with 1,000 cell phones would be so stupid. It's kind of hard for me to, and I understand like her experience with has been very challenging with that group. They've slandered her. They've like done, just look at the experience she's had with those Jewish donors. I understand why she would, be automatically suspicious there. But to me, I'm not saying it's not a state actor. I certainly could get behind George Soros, China, so they're trying to start a civil war. But in case you guys have not picked up on what I'm putting down on the global stage here, okay, when that would mean you did not watch my video from today. Well, I guess this would be yesterday when you guys see this. Okay, I did a video which is titled Virginia Giuffre Exposes Israeli Prime Minister, and I expose why Trump has been burying the Epstein files. And I want to be very clear about this, okay? There is a world war. I say this at the end of the video after I showed everybody why Trump has been actually, covering up the Epstein files. You guys can say in the comments, confirm to people they need to go watch that video because I solved the mystery, okay? Now, without going through that entire video again, you guys can go watch that after. I want to make this perfectly clear. There is a fucking world war going on right now, okay? And the world war is between Trump, okay, Elon, Peter Thiel, Israel, Saudi Arabia, and other allied countries. And the adversary is George Soros, whatever his deep state people are, China, Russia, and their, associated people, okay? And the foot soldiers here in America are left-wing radicals, okay? That's reality. That is reality. And you should keep this very, very much in the front of your mind. In this war, which is being fought, and if you want to understand much more clearly how I can say that so confidently, go watch the video that I did for Virginia Giuffre Exposes Israeli Prime Minister, okay? The reason that you should be on the right for this, which is not really a right or left-wing thing, the reason you should be behind Trump on this, regardless of how you feel about him, is in his world, he is strengthening America, and between America, Israel, and these allied countries over here, they're going to build out the Gaza Strip, which is monstrous. I completely understand that. But that is their end game, is they're going to build the power through the United States and beyond. Okay. Soros and these guys, Soros and all of them are doing it through China. And their end game is to destroy the United States. My opinion, China is hoodwinking them, dude. Okay. They could tell them all the way, the future is in China, the manufacturing center of the world. The future is in China. America's the past. Yada, yada, yada. And they could, these guys are globalists. They don't give a shit about America. And so Bill Gates and Soros and them can go make deals with them and do whatever. And then, do whatever they think that they need to do to make America fall. But if you are an American citizen, if you have to think hard about which team you want to be on, given that scenario, if that is the case, then I'm sorry. If the fact that you don't like Trump is your driving force for signing up for, civil war and Armageddon, you need to get your fucking head checked, dude. Okay. It doesn't matter who you like. Do you want to be able to feed your family? You know what I mean? Do you want to see the American economy collapse? You want to see us get a boot on our neck? Do you want to see the entire, the way that you live completely flipped upside down? That's their end game. Okay. And the left-wing radicals are part of that group. All right. So now we are going to look at some very, very important pieces of the mystery that are still out there, which is the 30-06. Was it actually that rifle, or is it possible that it's that rifle that killed Charlie Kirk? And Valhalla VFT covered this, and Jesus, this fucking video has 113,000 public views in 4 hours. So this video is going to go ham for him. Good for him. And we're going to react to it because he's going to go through this. Now, if you're not familiar with his channel, he's one of the guys. We're doing a fight companion November 14th, Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis. Me, Nate, Valhalla VFT, Heavy Duty Country, and JD Delay are going to be doing it. So you definitely tune into that. But we're going to watch his breakdown of this, and then we're going to discuss.
The conditions. What is the official narrative? So yes, Charlie was hit with a 30-06 round, supposedly according to the FBI. That left no exit wound, which we all know is very, very bizarre. And according to the medical examiner's report that Turning Point USA has put out and told people, if we remember this, yes, the man of steel neck, but the important part of this, of course, is in the end, the coroner did find the bullet just beneath the skin. Turning Point USA also told Stephen Gardner that the round came in, impacted the C2, traveled down through all the vertebrae, and then lodged just above the T1. That's very, very important if we're going to make some type of situation work to understand that, okay? All right, so let's talk about rounds first, and we'll get into grain weights and some other different things, see if we can get a combination of all these things to make it work.
So the one thing, let me just say this real quick. I mean, I'll put this out there, because the one thing that I put out there in terms of how it could have been a 30-06 round, and it makes sense, because I haven't seen this yet. I'm literally putting this on right now. Is I said that if they were packing their own rounds, okay, because I heard Ian Carroll say that. Ian Carroll said that on a podcast we did today. And I'm like, I said that at the very beginning. If they're packing their own rounds, they put, if you put less powder in there, of course, it's not going to be an exit. You can have this massive shell casing, but if you reduce the amount of powder, then it's not going to go as fast. You know what I mean? But I have literally no idea where this is going. So let's see.
But first, of course, your full metal jacket, 30-06 round, your standard round. All right, your typical 30-06 round here. It's typically going to be used for target shooting, practice, things like that. You definitely can use it for hunting if you needed to. But yeah, this is a round that's just, again, designed to enter the body, mushroom out, create damage, and would be one you would likely find in the event, like if you were to shoot a moose or something like that, and it came off the moose's scapula or something like that, you would actually find the entire round still in the body, rather than having it fragment all over the place or disintegrate like some of the rounds we're going to talk about next. All right, next is your soft point round. I've seen some people think this.
Okay, so I think he is going to go through the ones that are almost certainly not it, and then we're going, just because that's how I would structure the video, and he's sharp. So okay, now I'm just going to push forward. So if you guys want to see the breakdown of all of them, obviously go watch his video. But I'm going to, shit, you should go watch his fucking video anyway, dude. Jesus, I'm just kidding. Okay, so check this out though.
Some niche rounds where there may be a possibility to create no exit wound, disintegrate into nothing, which would kind of be the idea if it hit something really hard, like hard bone, okay, it potentially wouldn't create any exit wound. So you might think, oh, there it is. We solved it. It was a frangible round. But what's the problem with the frangible round idea? Well, it's this. All right, and here's where the frangible round theory kind of gets thrown out with the bathwater, and that's of course, because of Turning Point USA, who's put out this information that a bullet was found that came in, according to, again, Turning Point USA, who I would assume isn't going to lie about this, that bullet came in at the C2, crashed through all of these vertebrae, and then lodged into the body here. And that bullet was completely found here. Well, like we just saw on the description of the ammo, the frangible round is designed to essentially disintegrate when it hits something hard. What a frangible round is not going to do is hit this neck vertebrae, blast through 6 more vertebrae all the way down here, and then just be fully intact. It would have already disintegrated essentially into the body, or fragmented all over the place. So if it is true that this round, again, hit a neck and crashed through a bunch of bone and the whole thing lodged completely intact inside Charlie's body, it could not have been a frangible round. All right, the next one's very, very interesting. I've seen some people start to talk about this, and that is the idea it may have been a 30-06 safety slug. Let's take a look at this one. All right, so yes, the safety slug. This one's very, very interesting, okay? As you can see here, a little bit lower grain weight, but the entire idea of this round is it's basically an urban combat round, so it's designed to not penetrate through hard things, like walls or different things like that, to hit innocent bystanders.
Okay, I just looked something up, and it was a dead end. Okay, so I think he's saying that this is definitely probably not it. Okay, so low grain load ammo is, I believe, what this is. This is the last section, so I would assume this is where he's going to solve what we're looking for. So I'm just going to go ahead and play this. Like I said, I haven't seen it yet, but I hope I'm right. I hope I was right with my hypothesis.
Would not have left an intact bullet in the body, right? So none of those work all the way together. But what you also have probably seen a lot of is, well, it was Grandpappy's reloaded low grain reload ammo. So let's take a look if that's an actual possibility.
Okay, so what he's talking about is if this was, I think what he's talking about is if this was an old ammunition that was reloaded in, people pack their own rounds, like I was talking about. I'm pretty sure that's what he meant.
All right, so let's jump into the math. First thing we got to understand is that almost all factory ammunition for 30-06 you're going to buy is going to come in grain weight from around 150 to 220. Typically, a lot of hunters are going to use something like 170 grain. That would be pretty common. So that's what we used here, all right? So what this math shows is what will be the foot-pound force, so the force on impact into Charlie, not when it's leaving the gun, at 140 yards, because that's what the FBI, that's the distance they said the shot was from, for each of these, okay? And so what we did is we used 170 grain, pretty average, compared to 100 grain. That would be an almost 42% reduction in grain weight. So I have no idea why you would purposefully load this low of grain into your ammunition, but just for, hypothetical sake, let's say we did this, all right? And you might find this interesting, okay? All right, so the 100 grain, okay, it's going to leave the muzzle at about 3,300.
Oh, my God. I don't know where he's going with this, but I have something to show people afterwards that is relevant to this, because the type of rounds that I carry in my everyday carry are called civil defense rounds, okay? They're 9mm and they're only 50 grain, which is incredibly light. Most people carry 120 to 180, I think 140 is actually like a normal hollow point. And these are like 1/3 the weight. So I've seen videos where people shoot a watermelon with them, right? And I'll try to pull these up. And what's interesting about those is, so you shoot a ball round, it'll go straight through the watermelon, and it just comes, the exit hole's a little bit bigger, but it's nothing, but it kind of goes straight through. Shoot a hollow point, and it mushrooms and it blows the whole thing up, and it's, super crazy on the backside. But with the civil defense rounds, it might have actually been the honeydew that I saw this with, which is harder than a watermelon. When you shoot it, it blows up from the front. Like it blows up from the front. It's the only one that does that. And that's the super, super, super light round. I had not thought about that. The only problem though is that those rounds typically, will go, they'll if they're not frangible, like a civil defense round is going to break up actually. So fuck, man, that is crazy, dude. I wonder if they make super, I'm going to look that up while he talks. I'm sorry. I'm spitballing here.
100 feet per second. It's actually higher because there's less weight to it as it leaves the muzzle. But keep in mind, because of the much less grain, it's going to quickly reduce in velocity compared to the 170 grain. But that doesn't really matter. What matters is what is the foot-pound force on the impact when it hit Charlie. And as you can see here, all right, 100 grain at 140 yards. The kinetic energy when it hits Charlie, 2,047 feet-pounds. Okay, compared to your typical 170 grain at 140 yards, you're going to have a kinetic energy of about 2,432 feet-pounds. So the point being here is that, yes, it's less. It's about 400 feet-pounds less. 100 grain 30-06 round is still hitting Charlie Kirk's necks with 2,047 feet-pounds. That is still, with a full metal jacket round, soft point, is going to, again, blow right through Charlie Kirk's neck. That's not a reduction of enough kinetic energy to really make any difference on Charlie Kirk's, little human neck and a neck vertebrae. So with low grain reloaded ammo, and you purposely put, 40% less grain in, and again, I don't know why you would do this, maybe like a mistake, still is going to go right through Charlie Kirk, even with that. All right, next, I see people talking about, it was a subsonic 30-06 round. First, I don't think that is true because from the sound of the shot, it does sound like a supersonic round. But people have said, well, you got to lower the grain weight so much to make it subsonic. You don't make a 30-06 round subsonic by controlling the grain weight. You have to control the muzzle velocity. And I don't think you could even load low enough grain weight for the gun to fire correctly, which would bring us into the possibility of something like a squib or some type of massive malfunction of the round. All right.
So I literally was just looking up the lowest grain weights for 30-06 ammunition, and they said that some specialized sub-caliber rounds can use bullets as light as 55 grams. Oh, sub-caliber rounds. But these require a sabot to fit the 30-06 cartridge. I don't even know what a sabot is. I don't even know what a sabot is. So I don't even know why I'm even contributing to this. He obviously knows a lot better than I do.
Right, and if you have that massive of a malfunction, the gun's not even going to fire right correctly anyway. So that doesn't really make sense. All right, but what if we use a combination of both? Can we use Grandpappy's old reloaded ammo that we loaded in super low grain for whatever reason, I don't know, and a specific round type that would not leave an exit wound? I think probably yes. What would that be? Well, Grandpappy's old reloaded ammo, 90, 100 grain with a frangible round tip. Now, all of a sudden, we're in potential possibilities of a type of round that we would have seen actually hit Charlie and not create an exit wound. There is real possibility in that. But what's the problem? That round would disintegrate. There would be no round found in Charlie Kirk's body for the most part, other than some tiny little fragmentation.
But that is what they said that they found in Charlie Kirk's medical report. So that's what they said that they found. And that's what Candace said that was in the medical report was a fragment of the bullet. And here's the other thing too. The reason that that's important to note also is because everybody's been looking to confirm whether or not there is a recovered actual 30-06 round, because that would validate that it was that rifle that was used in the crime. And as far as I know, no one has produced that. Right? As far as I know, no one's produced that. So I honestly, I feel weird. I feel like I've used video, so I'm going to stop right here so that you can go watch his video to see what his conclusion is. But I will say that what he said right there lines up with what I understand about the autopsy, right? That it was just all that was recovered was a fragment of the round stuck here. So that would line up, right? Let me see. Yeah. I'll tell you what, if I can find the video that I'm referencing about the civil defense rounds, I will put them in right here. If I can't, then this is the end of the video. And I love you guys. And definitely trust me. I cannot stress this enough. I am going to blow the fucking lid off this case very soon. So pay attention.